All right, there we go. All right, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Young Hebrew. Welcome back to another Hebrews cast. Much gratitude for joining us today. We have a very special guest. Very humbled that he wanted to even do this today. I know it's been a while since I uploaded, but nonetheless, we're here. We have the professional. As you guys know, there's a lot to talk about. I haven't given my thoughts on GTA Plus. Haven't given my thoughts on Red Dead. Kind of been silent, seeing what Rockstar is doing, and we have none other than the professional here. And just want to say much gratitude and thank you for everybody that joined the hobby room this evening. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. I will be keeping an eye on chat as we just have a kind of general discussion. Really haven't talked much off the cast. Kind of want to save it for the cast. Got some talking points, but kind of going to let it run organically. But I do appreciate everybody that's here today, and I just want to quickly give it up for the professional.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. All right. What's going on, professional? How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
All is well. All is well. Yeah. So I briefly was telling you off stream. I know we're supposed to. I wanted to get with you after the investors call. I know everybody remembers the investors call. Take-Two's investors call. Very disappointing. I had a live stream on it. What was your take? How did you feel after the investors call that was in February in regards to Reddit Online and what they said about Reddit Online, and as far as like it getting future updates and subsequent DLC?
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they say in the investors call that Reddit Online was being successful and that they were happy with the result that it had right now?
Yeah. Yes, they
Yeah,
did.
that was yeah. That's I pretty much ignored everything in investors call. The only thing I really looked at was the Red Dead thing, and I'm pretty sure that's what I read was that they said that they were just happy with the state that the game was in, and they were just saying that it was being a success. And I remember Rockstar did that stupid interview even months before that in which they said that Blood Money was like a massive success also.
Right. Yeah, no, they also went on to say that it was the only game that exceeded their sales expectation, even over GTA 5 in that quarter. So after they said that, I was anticipating that they were going to support the game or say something about future DLC in regards to something this year, and then it seemed like they pushed it out till it not getting updated till 2023. And I kind of knew that going into it because with like, after the when the Blood Money DLC came out, I made a video and I said, this is a make or break DLC. Rockstar needs to understand this, because after this, we know that that was when they released the trailer for the expanded, the enhanced, and we knew that that was coming. So post that, I know that that's all they're focusing on at the beginning of 2022. So we're not going to get any content for Reddit Online. So this Blood Money DLC, I wasn't hyped off of the trailer, but I was expecting for the content to kind of follow through, and it didn't. And like I said, it was a make or break, and I don't feel like Rockstar understood that or just cared. So that's where I was at in that time frame. It just seemed, and I know you kind of have the same position. It just seems like as of now, I've heard you say that you feel as though, correct me if I'm wrong, like they're just stringing us along, but not really.
Yes. So my interpretation of this is that Rockstar really has no plans for Reddit Online. They've pretty much given up on the game, but instead of actually admitting to it, they're not admitting to it that they've given up on the game. But it's clear from us, the Red Dead players, that it's obvious what they're doing. But they're being very dishonest about it because Ubisoft, they were doing Watch Dogs Legion. Have you played that one by any chance?
No, but yeah, but no, I know where you're
So
going with this.
so Watch Dogs Legion was like it came out in 2020, and I was really excited for it. And I was excited for the online a lot because you can what's so unique about Watch Dogs Legion is that you can just play as any character pretty much in the game. You can even recruit the enemies to the and eventually turn them into allies. So that was just what I really liked about that, and the multiplayer was fun, but it didn't really have that much content to it. And they were throwing out updates. They actually added kind of like a battle pass system, but it wasn't any microtransaction crap. You could earn everything in the game by playing through it. And what happened was they did a few updates. They released a few like kind of raid missions, like these big like 4-player co-op missions, and they were fun. But what happened was they didn't get the result that they expected. They were expecting a lot more players to play the game than they were actually playing it. And so Ubisoft basically just gave up on the game after like, about a year and a half, even though I think they said they'd update it for years. But at least they came out and they made a post and they said, this is our final update that we're releasing on Watch Dogs Legion. We want to thank everybody for playing. And they recently did that on Ghost Recon Breakpoint as well. And even though I was kind of pissed off about that, I at least had some respect for Ubisoft in the fact that they actually came out and they said, we're not going to release any more updates. This is it. That's it for the game. Thank you everybody for playing. And Rockstar, if they're not going to support Red Dead Online, they should at least make a post. They have an obligation to tell the fans, we're not going to make any more content, anything like that. But no, what they're doing instead is they're making it seem like they have more content coming. They're making it seem like there's going to be more stuff coming. And the reason they're doing this is because they want to milk this game as much as possible. And they want players to keep buying gold bars because they know that if they come out and they say right now, we're not going to make any more DLC, then the few remaining players who are still buying gold bars are not going to buy gold bars. And so basically they're taking this very dishonest approach where they're not updating the game. They're not creating any more content for it, but they refuse to admit that they have abandoned the game at the same time.
When was it that they there was this shift, and what you said, that was well said, and all facts, by the way. There was this shift where it started, I felt like they started pandering towards newer players in reference to, and we're seeing it now with GTA Online, we'll get to that, but like in Reddit Online, we're talking about, explosive arrows, or we're talking about explosive rounds, and we're talking about just explosive ammo.
Yep.
We're talking about things that are locked behind pamphlets that we had to grind and get, $700, $400, $500, and they were giving it to the players for free. And when I saw that shift and I saw that I was getting, griefed by a level 10, I'm like, okay, what's going on? I started seeing the catering and the pandering towards the new players. And then I feel like it really ramped up after the Blood Money, or, right with the Blood Money DLC. That's when I really saw the catering towards the new players. And that's one of the major gripes I have with Rockstar, is like really catering towards newer players. And I feel like it coincides with what you just said in terms of they're not supporting the game, but they're stringing along these new players. Why? I mean, that get into that, but stringing along these new players and hoping to get more gold bar transactions, macro transactions, as I call them, out of the new players, in hopes that DLC is coming in the near future.
They know they're not going to get any microtransactions from people like me and you and all the veteran other players. They're not trying to appeal to us anymore. Instead, they're trying to appeal to new players, because a new player that comes into the game, they might come in the game and they might see all this stuff. They might see the trader role, the bounty hunter, and the collector, and be like, oh wow, this game has a lot of content. And because they haven't played that originally,
artificial hope,
all that stuff, and we know that this game is in serious needs of updates. So they're just basically trying to appeal to the new players. They're trying to basically kind of replace us, and they're just trying to make money off of the new players. So, screw all the veteran players. That's the way Rockstar's seeing it, and we're just gonna make all this money on the beginner players. I mean, look at what they did with the Red Dead Online standalone. That was basically just a whole thing just to appeal to new players. And you could argue that what they did with that Red Dead standalone is kind of false advertising, because right when they released that is pretty much the exact same time when they abandoned Red Dead Online. And so they're releasing this standalone for this game, and you buy this game thinking that this game is going to get updated and supported for years to come, and right when you buy it is right when they abandon it. So the way I see it, when they did that Red Dead Online standalone, it's kind of false advertising in my opinion.
I didn't look at it like that, but I get that's kind of common sense though. Okay. I mean, when you get down to the meat and potatoes, it's you hear this argument that, and when this was going on, you hear this argument that if you guys just bought more gold bars, it's like we have an overabundance of currency. Why would I buy gold bars? Why would a professional buy gold bars? The veteran players buy gold bars. Why and why wouldn't you want to? Why wouldn't you want to give your? Like I said this before, it's and I hate to be redundant, but you give something, at rank 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 that gives these tenured players, these veteran players, something, whether it's a cosmetic, nothing that gives them a great advantage or anything like that, but something, I don't know, you put on your horse, you wear on your character. A lot of ideas, a lot of cosmetics, a weapon cosmetic, I don't know, but something to show, like even the little gesture like that is never nodded with Rockstar. And it's just I just feel it's disingenuous to keep ignoring. Falling silent is one thing, that's an issue within itself, but like literally within the game, not putting any content for your veteran players and just keep pandering to new players. But it's like you're not going to have new players if you don't keep adding content like that. Like the content you said, it's like a artificial hope at first, like, oh, you're overwhelmed with all this content, and you realize after 3 months, 6 months, like then you're done and you've completed everything. It is, people want to say that it hasn't look at GTA. And I'm like, yeah, but look at GTA. Like, look at the amount of content that it has. Look how it's still supported. I mean, it got a Cayo Perico, a literal island during the pandemic, and then Red Dead gets what? So people don't always compare Red Dead and GTA, and it's like, but GTA or Red Dead Online has never had a fair chance, like in the fight. It's never been supported, parallel like it was promised. So the only reason, like you said, why they owe the fans an explanation, or just to be honest and transparent, I feel is because they made a promise that this game was going to be. You remember when it first came out, Professional, and they were like, this game is gonna be, we're gonna be updating Reddit Online, but don't worry, GTA fans, we're not going to stop updating. Like they had to reassure the GTA community that they're not going to stop supporting GTA and it's still going to get updates. And then that was totally reverse engineered, and that's what happened to the Reddit Online community. But they made a promise that this is going to be an everlasting, not at a glacier pace, but an everlasting and evolving experience. And that's just not what it was. The trader role, you end up, and I want to find the article just for receipts. I have it saved, but I haven't pulled it up here. I might pull it up, but they wanted a, trader to eventually own a store. They wanted, bounty to eventually be a lawman. I don't know. Then go into a sheriff. This was the developer speaking during the beta. And then all that just got thrown out the window. So I feel the only reason why I'm even with the hashtag Save It Online and was with the movement of saving it, other than it deserves it, is because they made a promise and they're not making good on that promise. So I just want to hold them accountable as I do myself.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that it's fair of what they've done to Reddit Online. And speaking of when you were talking about the GT Online updates, I really can't stand it when people like say that like, oh, you can't compare like GT Online and Reddit Online. When you can compare the games, you can't. I don't think you can really compare them in gameplay because one's modern and one's over 120 years ago. But what you can compare them is you can compare them in size. When you see that one game is getting significantly massive updates and then one game is getting barely nothing, pretty much nothing at this point, I think that at that point you can pretty much compare them, and you can see that Reddit Online is the neglected child in this case. It's just pushed aside, it's just completely forgotten, and GT Online is getting all the attention.
And I think you hit a mark when you said, are we back, guys, with the stream? Is the stream okay? Let me look at it on my end. But when you said that when the casino DLC came out and they saw the money that they made off that and they kind of just stopped supporting, that is right around the time that I feel like they really saw that, okay, we can now be creatively bankrupt, go lazy, dormant, kind of work on maybe GTA 6 and just kind of update GTA, throw a bone when we need to, and then just forget about Reddit Online. But it's like you could be making, if you morally do what's right, you could be making, I would say, I wouldn't say more, but the same amount of money from Reddit Online.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Reddit Online definitely has potential. I don't think that it would ever surpass GTA, but I do think it would make them a massive amount of money, and I think it would definitely be very profitable. And speaking of those updates, when you mentioned the casino, if Reddit Online came out, that was like November, end of November 2018, around December 1st,
Correct.
officially. And so around